I want to dive into some of your training days, if that's okay, Andy. I just wanted to know, when did you actually consider training to be a pro wrestler, and what was the process like back when you were trying to find a school? Because I don't imagine it's pretty accessible nowadays, but back when you were doing it, was it as easy to find a school? And was there any great schools?
Yeah, I mean, well, when I did it, at this point, I've got an English accent because I grew up in the south of England. I was born in Scotland, grew up in the south of England, and moved back when I was 12. So my dad passed away when I was 15, and then straight away I was like, right, I'm gonna learn to become a wrestler. I looked online. There was SWA, which was in Linlithgow. There was BCW, and there was W3L. Now, at the time, I wanted to look for more of like an intensive course, like you would with driving lessons.
Yeah.
So I looked abroad. I looked at I think at the time there was the 3D school, like the Dudley's school. There was Lance Storm and people like that, but they were wanting thousands of pounds, and we didn't have them. I just didn't have the money. Mm-hmm. So back then it was dial-up internet, So this was 2005, and I found Hammerlock, which was down in Kent at the time. Now, Hammerlock produced Becky Lynch, Finn Balor, Zack Sabre Jr., Paul Tracy, Jimmy Havoc. They produced some very, very good talent. So I contacted them. I emailed them. They were doing a week-long summer training camp. So I thought, this is it. This is what a week long. I'll be a wrestler by the end of the week. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. Yeah. So I contacted them, and I ended up going down to England to train for a full week. And it was the most intense experience I've ever had in my life, because I turned up for my first day of training with every WWE t-shirt I had, a couple of pairs of shorts, and some wrestling boots. So I thought, what else will you need for a week of wrestling?
That's it.
Not really, because at that point I was 15, but I didn't really, internet wasn't huge. I didn't really understand what wrestling was or how it worked. I kind of knew what it was, but I didn't really get it. So
weren't they properly smartened up yet?
Not completely in the know. I didn't know what kayfabe was. The curtain hadn't been completely pulled back for me. So I went down and I met all these guys, and there was about 30 people on the first day. The first person I met was Mark Andrews, the Lightning Kid. He was at the time. He's in WWE now, obviously. Yeah. And by the last day, there was only about 6 or 7 people left. So, and me and Mark and a few other people were there. So, yeah, that's how I made my start. Then when I came back, I found W3L, trained with them for a bit. Then I went off to BCW, which then became PBW Academy. And that's where I kind of finished the kind of 5 or 6 years of my training there.
Lovely. And with the PBW Academy, were you coaching at that point? Because I don't know, I seen an ICW video, and it was Kid Fite, and he was going to be going up against one of his students. And I'm pretty sure you were in the ring as a coach. Was that just for ICW TV, or were you actually doing some coaching back at the
Yeah, I've been helping a little bit with some of the like younger people and less experienced people. My career really kicked off really fast. Like, I kind of got wrestling. It was the first thing I was ever good at, and it all just kind of started coming. I was like, oh my God, I'm good at this, and yeah. I'm getting in shape. And I'd always been fat, and I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming somebody so quickly. And I think that's why when it all kind of went stop when I had a kid, that I was like, oh fuck. And then that's why I'd kind of been drinking a lot as well and partying, and all of a sudden I was sober, and I wasn't wrestling, and I wasn't getting any short-term gratification, and I had this baby that I didn't know how to deal with it, and that all stopped. So yeah, so I was helping out with the coaching and things, but yeah, for the ICW TV side of things, it was very much a kind of TV coach kind of idea, because Ross had been, I think at the time he'd been bullying some of the people, but what Ross was trying to do was obviously get people their debuts, and then they allowed me to be the one that kind of put them in his place. So yeah, that was my first real kind of opportunity.
Got you. It's because Kid Fite has done a lot for the Scottish wrestling scene, and I recently spoke with Davey Blaze, and he was telling me that he helped out with a lot of, he got his students international bookings. And did he help you get an international booking of any kind?
Yeah, Kid Fite helped me with absolutely everything in the early part of my career. I wouldn't have got to this position if it wasn't for him. because he literally got me pretty much every booking I had up until about 2010, 2011. So yeah, we were doing, at the time, what Kid Fite was trying to do was doing like a talent swap idea. So he was getting himself and a few of his guys across to Germany, Denmark, Spain, all these places. And then with PBW, he was rebooking their promoters with a couple of their guys. And that was what was getting a lot of people's about. And that gave me some of the best experiences outside the wrestling I've had in my life. I had some of my best drunk nights out in Europe, because Europe's mad for drinking, especially when you go to Denmark and you buy a pint and it's like 9.5% proof for like a pint of beer. You drink 3 pints and you got out to go for a pee and you're like, oh my God, why am I so drunk? And all the Danish are like, hey, come on, have another pint. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. You know, I'm being sick in the alleyway trying to kayfabe it, you know. But he was a massive part of my success early on.
Awesome. No, that's good. When Davey was saying that as well, the Kid Fite, and from what I've seen some of his. I was actually at Fear and Loathing at the Hydro, 2018, and the only time I ever got to see Kid Fite was when he was going against Liam Thompson over the sink.
Yeah,
and that was just so entertaining. Like, and I've since looked up Kid Fite's history in ICW, and I just love he's such a in your face smash mouth kind of character, and he takes no shit. I just love that. Absolutely love that.
It's real, isn't it? We always talk about wrestling being like a volume turned up version of yourself, and if you ever meet Ross in person, Kid Fite in person on a night out, don't annoy him, because he is exactly the same out the ring as he is in the ring. He's calmed down a lot in recent years, but yeah, he's a turned up version of himself, and I would challenge anybody in any locker room to really go face to face with him in real life, because he's legit. So yeah, he's a tough cookie.
Definitely, I
I've recently heard that Jack Jester's no one to be trifled with at the bar either.
Yeah, there's a few silent killers in the Scottish wrestling scene that would. Yeah, they're quite calm and whatnot, but you wouldn't want to cross them.
Yeah.
Even in a drinking sense, because if there's anything that Scottish wrestlers can do, it's drink.
We'll have a go at that one.
Yeah, that's one to do.
Yeah.
When you spent some time, was it the WWE tryout? Is that when you got to spend your time with William Regal?
Yeah. So I've met William Regal once, and it was a 2-day tryout at the Evening News Arena in Manchester. They had SmackDown Raw on. So during the day, we got to train with William Regal and Robbie Brookside, which for me, at one point, I was in the ring and I was locking up with Johnny Saint, and I've got William Regal, Dean Malenko, Finlay, and Robbie Brookside all standing at the ringside. Now, after what I told you about who inspired me,
that's your Mount Rushmore.
That was the moment where I was going, geez, if I never do anything else in life, I can say like that I locked up with the best British wrestler of all time, Johnny Saint, with onlooking all my kind of heroes standing there. It was a surreal one. It was a surreal experience.
I've arrived.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. I was just like, this is just mad, just madness.
I was going to say, was it hard to process it, that kind of when you were doing that? Was it hard to process, like, how mind-blowing? Because they were all your idols.
Yeah.
They say don't meet your heroes. I'm sure you were happy that you did.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was mind-blowing so much because, like I said, I went through that really tough spell, and I honestly believed and kind of taught myself into the fact that, like, it's never happening for you. You're fat again. You're down. You're demotivated. You're not really doing good on shows. When you do wrestle on shows, you're not really enjoying it because you're so out of breath in the match. And, you know, it was hard for me. And then when I had that match with Noam, it re-sparked that fire. And then I was like, I'm doing this. And then within a year, I had that tryout, or a year and a half, I had that tryout. And I got it off my own back. I never asked anybody to put a word in for me or anything. I just applied for it and got it. And then I'm standing there with William Regal and all these people that I've looked up to. And I'm like, again, it gave me that I'm not the type of person to settle for stuff. Like, Mom just said to me recently on the phone, wow, it's good that you got the NXT UK thing. If you don't do anything else, at least you can say you had that match. And I'm like, no, I didn't dream of having a match as an extra for WWE when I was a kid. I dreamt of wrestling at WrestleMania, and that's what I'm going to do. And she's like, well, all right, well, you think you are? You know what I mean? I'm just like, well, I don't think I am, Mum. I know I'm going to, you know, and try and stop me, you know, because I'm going to do it.
Oh,
so, yeah. It was amazing, but it just motivated me more. That's why I can get up at 5 a.m, you know?
Aye, definitely. And I think when that happens, when you get your WrestleMania match, I'm guessing that's when the new dream, there'll be a new dream of main eventing WrestleMania. The goals, they never stop coming, the goals, do they?
No, you always have to move the goalpost. But I do truly believe that for anybody that watches this and looks at me and goes, or looks at anybody and goes, oh, yeah, it's fair enough for you to say that because you're in shape now, or that's fair enough because you got the tryout. Reach for low-hanging fruit first. I always believe that if you reach for low-hanging fruit, people set goals out and go, right, as of the 1st of January, I'm going to run every day and not eat a carbohydrate again. And then they do that for 3 days and then can't do it. And they're like, oh, well, I can't do it. But if they said, I am going to just drive to the gym for the first week and just drive to the gym, get up and drive to the gym. I'm not going to go in, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to drive there. I know that I can do that. And then week 2, I'm going to get up, drive there, and I'm going to do a warm-up, right? I know I can do that. And so on and so forth, and build to it, as opposed to, like I did for a long time, I'm going to do this crash diet, or I'm going to do this or that. And it just doesn't work. So that's how I attain my goals. Like you're saying now, I move the goalposts and I go, like, lockdown was a big thing for me because I went, right, what can I do this week? Okay, this week I am going to do 1,000 burpees because I'm scared of burpees. And then by day 3, I was like, why the fuck did I say that I was going to do 1,000 burpees? And Hannah was going to me, my missus was going to me, yeah, but you've got nothing to prove. Nobody knows that you've even set yourself that goal. And I've gone, yeah, but I know.
You do.
And I want to achieve it, and I'm going to do it. And then when I did, I was like, oh, what can I do this week? And what can I do this week? And then that has just changed the way I look at everything.